This story is sponsored by Meals on Wheels of Horry and Georgetown County.
We are joined by Michael, and he is the CEO of Meals on Wheels of Horry County and Georgetown. How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Doing great. Glad to talk with you about what you all are doing here. So tell us about Meals on Wheels.
Well, there's so much to tell you about Meals on Wheels, honestly. Where to begin? We are, your local Meals on Wheels ministry that is really catered to taking care of those homebound, elderly, and terminally ill grandmothers and grandfathers throughout our community. These are the people that are lost and forgotten in our society. They're our neighbors, they're in our neighborhoods, they're in our apartment complexes, and it's people who can't get out of their houses because of medical issues. And they need food, so they need nutritional support, and two, they need the love of Jesus and the spiritual support that we provide.
Right, and that is so beautiful. I know exactly what it feels like to have a relative in need of Meals on Wheels and entrusting you all to provide for that.
Right.
So it's amazing. So tell us, what are some of the services? What are some of the programs that you have in place?
Yeah, so the number one thing that we do is we try to share Jesus in everything that we do.
Right.
And that is through our meals. So the number one thing we try to do is make sure that those folks in our community that need nutritional support get that. So that's the number one thing. So we put out around 2,000 meals a week. We're getting close to that number. We support around 440 grandmothers and grandfathers throughout Horry and Georgetown County every week. So they get a meal, they get 5 meals a week, and each meal has scripture on it. And our volunteer coordinator, also pastor, will type a weekly devotional, so it helps give that spiritual support, that uplifting support that they might need because they're isolated. So the meals, then we have care teams. So we have a group of dedicated volunteers who go out and just visit grandparents and just sit with them. They are vetted. They do go through a vet process before they go, and they always go in twos. So they go in pairs and they sit down for anywhere from 30 minutes to 2 hours, and they spend just time with them, showing our grandparents that they're worth more than the meals, that they are loved. Then we have special deliveries, which is my favorite, honestly, because I love the holidays, and I know most people do. So from Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, to the Easter baskets that we're doing, and to Christmas, which is our Super Bowl of events for the year, we do personalized Christmas for all of our grandparents. And it is so awesome to hear the testimonies of how it impacted them.
This is beautiful. Spiritual food and regular nutritional food. I love it. It's such a great way to give back to the community. So for this particular location, and the locations that you oversee, tell me, how did it get started?
Well, this organization was started, I think, around 13 years ago, by a lady named Kathy Edens, and man, she faithfully ran this organization for years. And about 4 years ago, I think it was like 2018, 2019, the Lord blessed me with just being able to walk in the doors to try to get a local neighbor some help. And Kathy told me they were shutting the doors, they had run out of funds. And after an hour or so of just sharing with Kathy what the Lord has been doing in my life, she said, "Will you take this over?" And here we are a couple years later. We went from 75 grandparents a week at that point in time to around 430 now a week.
How can our community actually get involved and support? Do you need volunteers?
Yeah, so the demand is great, honestly, for our services. Everything we do out of here is for free.
Exactly, to feel loved. That is so beautiful, and you just stepped in right in the nick of time.
It's all the Lord's doing.
Yes, I love it. I love it. Well, we are so glad to have you on Living Local, and we appreciate what you're doing in the community.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
This story is sponsored by Meals on Wheels of Horry and Georgetown County.